So this is my 61st video recording in English, and I'm going to start it with the reading of some of my poems. This will be the new poems, and I think that's all. All other poems were read by me earlier. Maybe I will continue this thing of reading one of the poems, just rereading one of the poems with each video after I collect all the poems in one place. And for now I have the translation of Облака белогривой лошадки. This is the song from the children cartoon Трям здравствуйте. They pass by the white apple of the moon. Okay, this is one of the old versions, so I'm not sure that I want to distant blue lagoon will arrive and depart to the horizon. Okay, maybe this is the right version, because I rewrote several verses several times, so right now I don't know where is the last version, the final version, but it is somewhere. So, passing by the white apple of the moon, passing by the red apple of the sunset, the white clouds from the distant blue lagoon will arrive and depart to the horizon. The white clouds, the white clouds, they're the little white mane horses, the white clouds, please don't turn away your noses. From those heights, please don't look down at us on the ground, but you'd better take us for a ride, the white clouds. We'll rush there when the night sky starts to pale, passing by all the stars above the desert. Then we'll catch every comet by the tail and weave them in the garland all together. And then again the chorus. The white clouds, they're the little white man horses. The white clouds, please don't turn away your noses. From those heights, please don't look down at us on the ground, but you'd better take us for a ride, the white clouds. Well, it's not bad, and that's fine for me. I don't want to make it better. I don't want to put my time and efforts into this particular rhyme. And next, the translation of the song «Где-то на белом свете» from the Soviet movie «Кавказская пленница». Somewhere far north from here, where northern lights are green, polar bears interfere with a planet's spin. Centuries disappear, so did the king of pop. Polar bears interfere, Earth rotates non-stop. Ni, Earth accelerates its spin. Working as hard as robots, speeding a planet's spin, polar bears make the moment when two lovers meet, so that once in the morning, during a year or two, he'd make her heart feel soaring, saying her I love you. Ni, Earth accelerates its spin. After the summer showers, rainbows will soon appear, and for those happy lovers, during so many years, snowflakes will muffle the sounds, lightnings will pierce the air, there will be cirrus clouds, white as polar bears. Ni. Earth accelerates its spin. Yeah. So, what's the idea for the next time? Well, I decided to expand my vocabulary, because really, when I want to retell some story from the movie like The Matrix or anything else in English the way I did for the story Mariana. Well, actually I fail because I don't have enough words to keep this retelling of the story. Yeah. So I was lucky that I found some beautiful poems that I was able to translate into English, and now they sound quite natural. But well, I need to improve my vocabulary, and as I explained some videos ago, right now I can take the theoretical knowledge, theoretical vocabulary, my passive vocabulary from one container and put it into the skills, into the active vocabulary, and then I'll get more space in the first container to fill it with the new vocabulary. Right now I listen to or read aloud the textbooks on the law, the Air Force, and the cooking, and I started with the electronics, all the stuff, quite basic vocabulary for the physics on electricity, like ohm, amperes, volt, watts, and other stuff, some devices that we met during the laboratory practices. But yeah, in any case, this is a good example of some usage, because I can't find this particular word in the newspapers, in the Harry Potter books, but they exist in English, and they exist as the notions in my experience. So well, it would be cool to know them, and at some point create some short story that uses these words on this particular topic. Yeah. Another direction that I'm going to follow is reading 555 verbs in English with the examples on each meaning of this verb, because let's say if I take all these 555 verbs, I know most of the verbs, and I can even use them in the correct sentences, but I will use only some basic meaning that I learned from some books, some videos. But usually these words have more than one meaning, maybe two meanings, that are quite popular and that can be used in different texts, which are quite common, throughout the language. And there are really rare usages of very common verbs, and it's better to use the synonyms for these meanings, the verbs that I used to explain the meaning of this verb from the article. But really it's a good practice. This way I can see the different meanings of one verb and compare it in my mind. Because sometimes I read the book and I encounter the verb or the word that I know, but the translation, the meaning that I know for this word is not very suitable for the context of the book. Then I go to the dictionary and I discover that this word has another absolutely different meaning, and this meaning is used in this particular text. But with this book, 555 verbs, I have all the meanings consolidated into one place, so my brain will have the opportunity to compare the meanings in one place, without searching for them in different sources. This is the second resource. The third resource that I discovered recently is the science fiction short stories that I read in my 8th and 9th grade. And when I read the stories, I was about 15 years old and I knew all the words in Russian that were used in the stories. But when I start to read these stories in English, it's like I can't understand half of the words. Well, I can read Harry Potter and Twilight with 80 to 90% of the coverage of all the words, but with the science fiction stories I can understand about 50% of the words. And I remember that Sergey, my colleague from the previous work, from the previous job work, he when he traveled from Zhodino, where he lived, to Minsk, where he worked, by the train, he usually spent this hour or something on his way to and from the work, reading the stories like the complete Asimov collection. And he wrote down the unknown words and translated them with the Google Translate. So now I understand that this is a very cool way to expand your vocabulary, because from the point of view of a Russian reader, these words are quite common, but when I come from Harry Potter and Twilight environment, these words for me as unknown as the law vocabulary, the Air Force vocabulary. So this is the third direction I'm going to follow. I'm going to take some of the short stories, science fiction short stories that I read in Russian 20 years ago. I liked them, and I can read them now in English and got the words that are unknown to me and expand my vocabulary. And then I can use these words in some sentences just to practice them and feel the content of my audio recording or video recording in English. And the fourth path I can take is the reading of the type scripts for Big Bang Theory. Well, I watched the Big Bang Theory, all 12 seasons, and I rewatched first 3 seasons a couple of times, and I rewatched some of the episodes that I liked from the 5th, the 6th seasons, and some other random episodes. And the time has come to get to get some vocabulary from these stories that I didn't know then and I don't know now. And with this vocabulary, I can really expand my knowledge of English. And again, now as I have the power to use this vocabulary in my speech, it will be soon absorbed into my mind, and it will expand my active vocabulary. And maybe in the future, when I find more rhymes to translate, or when I will have the desire to write my own rhymes, I will use this new vocabulary. Because to use the new vocabulary, I need to learn it first. The way the kids in Russia, in United States, learn their own vocabulary since their birth till the age of 10 or 15 years old. Okay, about vocabulary. Yeah, I remember right now one of the episodes when Sheldon's mother came, and I think Leonard called Sheldon's mother because Sheldon has his next crisis. He had this quarrel with the new director of the institute, and he was fired. So he tried to find himself in some other activities. He didn't go out of the house. He created the luminescent fish that what is the word? That glowed, something about shining. So this fish swam in the aquarium, and it created the light at night the way the fireflies do. And at some point Sheldon mastered the Luma production, and he created Pancho, and then he wore it. So Leonard was kind of worried about Sheldon, that one of the greatest minds of his generation was wasted on some useless activity without working on the theoretic physics, which Sheldon could do the best of all. So Leonard called Sheldon's mother, and she came, and she made Sheldon go back to the university and apologize to the director, and get back his job. And Sheldon started to work at his theoretic physics again. But at the first evening, when Sheldon's mother came, she baked some pie, and everybody ate this pie. And Howard, who was Jew, he asked Sheldon's mother what was the secret ingredient for cooking this so tasty pie, and he suggested that it was love, but she answered that it was lard. And when I listened to this episode a couple of times, well, I didn't understand this word because I never met it before, and I just skipped it like something because it was funny and everybody laughed behind the scene, behind the curtains somewhere. But then I opened the TypeScript and I found that it was L-A-R-D, lard, which means what it means. Something, the byproduct of the pork, of the pig, yeah. And the funny thing is that Jew do not eat pork or pigs, I think, because in Bible Jesus said that pigs were some maybe dirty animals or some unholy animals, and Jesus used the pigs as the vessel to catch or to put the devil after he took the devil out of some person, yeah. And then all these devils got into the herd of the pigs, and all the pigs ran out of the cliff and jumped down and died. So it was kind of funny that lard, it was the secret of this tasty pie was not the love, but it was lard. Next, yeah, lard. And it seems like this journey is quite long, at least right now. It may take about a year just to reach some point when I said that, well, I know at least half of the words that I want to know from this particular vocabulary, or it may continue for the next 5 years or more, but because I like learning English and because I can use it right now, I can't use it. Unfortunately, I can't use it for 10 years while I listened to different audio and video, but now I can use it and I can expand my vocabulary further. So this is the first part of my today's video, and yeah, I described 4 paths that I can follow in order to expand my vocabulary in English, and then use these words to create my own sentences, make them active, and even use them to create my videos for my YouTube channel. And the second part of my today's video will be about some other science fiction stories that I recalled, but I didn't read them yet. I didn't have time, but I recalled them quite enough to retell them. And one of the stories that I liked from these 2 collections of short science fiction stories about which I told the last time. So the story is called The Arena, and it was written in 1944. It tells the story about some moment in the history of the mankind, many thousand years in the future, when all the solar system was colonized by the man, and there were spaceships that let people to travel from one planet to another planet. And at this moment, the humankind encountered some threat from the outside. They call them outsiders. Just some types of aliens who attacked some of the bases of the humans, and they killed all the humans on the bases, or just ran away, never being captured. So no one knew how these aliens looked like. But there were some evidence that human ships had more advanced guns on the board, but the alien ships were more advanced in speed and maneuverability. Anyway, at some point, the humankind learned that a huge armada of alien ships traveled towards the solar system, and humans created built about 10,000 ships with 500,000 soldiers on board, and they were ready to meet this alien armada somewhere behind, in front of, beside, somewhere near the orbit of Pluto. Yeah, and one of the soldiers who piloted one person spaceship that was designed for flying in the cosmos and trying to kill the alien the aliens who piloted their own one person ships. So this guy was about to meet the enemy ship, but then he blacked out and found himself somewhere which was called the arena. It was like around space, covered with the sand. The sand was blue, not the yellow sand from Earth. The arena was covered with the dome of blue color, so he could not see through this dome, and he could not leave this arena. he was stuck in it. He was naked, and it was really hot. He had no food, he had no water. And then some supreme being told to him and to the alien who was set on the opposite side of this arena. The supreme being said that it chose two average individuals who represented the whole mankind and the whole alien kind, and this supreme being put them into this arena, which was quite which had like average temperature conditions for the worlds where the human and where the alien lived. Both of them were kind of naked, without any tools or something, and they just it was the battle between two individuals, and whoever we would survive, his people would survive as well, and all the enemies would be killed, because the aliens and the humans were equal in the kind of intellectual power, in the technological power, and if they fight each other, they would almost wipe out each other, yeah, and the progress, the technology of both civilizations would drop down very far behind to the Stone Ages. So this supreme being decided to put two individuals into the arena, and so that the individual would decide which civilization was worth to live, and this way one of the civilizations will be saved, and it would be saved, and it would progress from this point forward without going from the back something back flash again all this time forward. It's not a very correct English grammar and vocabulary, but I'm not about being correct right now. I try to use as much vocabulary as I can, and maybe in the future I will learn the necessary vocabulary to explain this stuff. Anyway, it was the transparent wall between two halves of this arena, so neither the human nor the alien could move through this transparent wall. Yeah. And at some point, the human explored his half of the area, and he could not find anything to eat or drink or fight with this alien. And at some point the human discovered that the alien used his whatever arms or something from his body, and he created kind of catapult from the small trees or bushes that grew at some places of this artificial blue desert. And this alien moved to the far end of the arena, so that the human could not throw the stones into this catapult and destroy it, as he did with two previous catapults. But this catapult was quite strong. And it shot all the way to the area where the human was, and the human got considerable damage from the stones that were shot from this catapult. And at some point, the human started to hear the voices of the lizards, small lizards that lived in this desert, blue desert. They talked to him, and at another moment of the story, this man saw as the alien caught one of the lizards on his side. It tore off the legs of this lizard, and it threw this lizard away. And later, when the man started to hear the lizards, one of the lizards called him to approach some place, and the man discovered that lizard with torn off legs and arms, it fell on his part of the arena, and another lizard asked the human to kill this lizard because it could not survive without legs, but it could not die yet, and it suffered a great amount of pain. And at this moment, the man realized that somehow the lizard, which was the living being, crossed this transparent barrier. So he discovered, that if the living being was unconscious and its mind activity was shut down, the barrier did not react to this living being, and this living being could pass through the barrier the way the stones could fly through the barrier as well. So the man devised the plan. He created kind of, harpoon, hook, something from the trunk of the bush, and he used the roots to create some rope that connected his arm to this spear that he created. And Then he made some form of the slope from the sand. He lay on this slope, and he hit himself with the stone on his head. At this moment he lost his consciousness, and he rolled from this slope to the other part of the arena through the barrier while he was unconscious. And he had some injuries or something, and he got on, let's say, his back. His injuries returned him back to the consciousness. The alien was interested, but when he regained consciousness, he laid motionless on the sand, and the alien was interested in his behavior. The alien threw some stones into his, but because he didn't react, the alien moved closer, and at this moment the man threw the spear into the alien. He got the alien with this spear, and he used these ropes to pull the alien closer, and he used the rock to kill this alien. And at this moment, when the alien was killed, he found himself back on the ship, and the message from the general came that all the fleet of the enemies was destroyed with just one shot from the human fleet. It was like a miracle. Only he knew what this miracle was about, but anyway, he succeeded, and he saved his own life in this arena and the life of the whole humanity. This is quite an interesting story. I like it very much. I reread it maybe a couple of times, like 10 years after the first time I read it, and 5 more years after that. And well, actually, the problem about the story is that in English it's really difficult to read because most of the words are not very popular in Harry Potter or Twilight universes. And maybe I should, at some point after science fiction stories, I should aim at Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, because they have some specific literature vocabulary, like, for example, to heed, which I learned while translating Gumilyov's poem, and I used it, and it can be used. But to do this, first I need to learn this vocabulary, that it exists. Okay, the story was quite cool, and I'm going to read this story in the future, and I'm going to get the vocabulary from it and learn it and use it. And using is the best part of this process. So right now I have 45 minutes of recording my English video, and I can spend another 5 minutes on something, some small topic, because because I think for the next 5 days I won't be able to record any videos. I will be quite occupied with learning my English vocabulary and trying to do my small meditation sessions after work, and trying to sleep for 6 hours at least during the working day. And if I will find right now, I can check something like, I can read something like small poems that I wrote. Yeah, that. Okay, I found another translation. I like it. I think there are some problems with yeah, there are some problems with the grammar, but I will improve it sometime later when I have the desire to do this. Right now it's quite alright. This is the translation of the poem that was recited in the Russian action movie Brat 2. I have learned that I possess a huge circle of the friends. Here's the oak tree on the hill, here's the river by the field. There's the forest round the pool, there's the sun, and there's the moon. In the sky there are the stars, Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. They surround me from the start. They're the dearest to my heart. I'm so proud, I'm so glad. That's my precious motherland. Well, even right now, it sounds quite well, even though it can have some problems with grammar. And there are 2 short 4-line poems, which are the original poems. I remember how it was. He gave me a bunch of roses, and with that he stole my heart, a sparrow's fat. And the next poem is about it's about the history topic. A history remembers a bunch of Caesar's speeches, but one of the most famous is Veni Vidi Vici. Yeah, and I think that I can even repeat again one of my maybe 2 of my favorite poems, like near the forest margin, in the dark deep dungeon, where the crystal spring is born, the old man dwells on his own. There he keeps his sacred treasure, that's impossible to measure. That one, born on Sunday morning, will possess all his belongings. This is from the fairy tale by Kaufman, called Cold Heart, I think. And the other one, again, the translation of Bloch's Ночь фонарь аптека. The rain, the street, the waves move forward, a senseless light cast by the flame. Another century is over, there's no escape, all stays the same. We die, we start from the beginning, and everything repeats again. The street, the cold October evening, the light, the pharmacy, the rain. Yeah, well, and to finish this poetic moment, I will read again my Gumilev's translation. My days monotonous and flat flash with the same incessant pain, and nightingales drop down dead, and roses fade and die away. She who bestowed on me her heart drowns in the everlasting spleen, and her intoxicated blood runs under her smooth tender skin. And if I live to meet my needs, then I'll fulfill my only hope, when we like 2 blind little kids shall wander on the mountain slope. Within these barren icy lands, where where our lungs burn as we inhale, we'll smell the withered rosy scents and heed the lifeless nightingales. So that's it. I have 50 minutes of the recording for my current video, and I think that's all till the next week, till the next weekend. So this is it for my 61st video.